What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is staying cool. If you're in the path of the thunderstorms, hopefully, you are keeping safe with no storm damage. It is time now for the Saturday edition of the Climate Update for Saturday, July 29th, 2023. Starting off, we want to take a look at the Storm Prediction Center storm reports for yesterday. And if you recall yesterday, there was only a marginal risk in the Mid-Atlantic region. But that's not the way it unfolded. And if you recall, there was an enhanced risk which included Chicago. That area, as we look here, it looks like it did pan out. But what did not pan out was that marginal risk in the Mid-Atlantic region. One could say it definitely needed to be a slight risk. One could even say, like near Baltimore, D.C., there should have been an enhanced risk for wind. There should have been a 30% area for wind, and yeah, definitely. Yesterday was a true classic case of an overperformer. There's some tornado reports from yesterday. We'll see if any of them get verified. There's 616 regular wind reports, 16 that were high wind reports. Hail, there were lots of them. 184 reports of hail yesterday. 46 reports of rather large-sized hail. So yesterday truly was an overperformer in the thunderstorm department. Today, we're watching that same cold front. It's going to slice through the northeast and mid-Atlantic. It's going to knock down the heat and humidity. We also do have a couple other thunderstorm complexes, and we have this disorganized mess which continues to spin in the southeast, which is providing a lot of clouds and showers down there. National hazards maps. First thing you probably notice is there's a lot of orange on the map. Still a lot of heat advisories, heat warnings. Then you come up here to the northeast, you see severe thunderstorm warnings and even some flash flood watches. Out in the west, you also do see there are still some heat advisories and heat warnings. Taking a look at the radar. Here's that disorganized mess in the southeast. Here's that system that's now approaching St. Louis. And here's the cold front in the northeast. And we are starting to see an eruption of thunderstorms along this cold front. There may be more cells that form just behind that. And yes, there are severe watches up accordingly in that area. Four Corners region, we are seeing some showers today, and even some showers up in North Dakota. Let's take a look at air quality values for today. Air quality values, they have improved. Even in the east, it is better today. Still some problems in the southeast. Great Lakes are improved. A little deterioration now ongoing in the Pacific Northwest and in California, and that is because of wildfire smoke. Taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center for today. Large slight risk now from Tennessee to North Carolina on up and through southern New England. Another slight risk back across western Kentucky, portions of Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri. And there is a slight risk ongoing from the Dakotas down through Nebraska and into Colorado for severe thunderstorms. There is a small risk of a tornado in the northeast along the I-95 corridor. Wind is the biggest threat for all areas, and there is a hail risk in that Dakotas threat for today. Day 2, we see for tomorrow, there are some marginal risk areas. We could see there was one in the southeast, and maybe the ones in the northern plains get upgraded to a slight risk. Then we go to day 3, just another marginal risk in the northern plains. Not terribly concerned about that just yet. Taking a look at the Weather Prediction Center. You can see there is a slight risk of excessive rainfall in the northeast today, a slight risk of excessive rainfall in West Virginia, portions of Kentucky, Virginia itself, Tennessee, and western North Carolina. Day 2, we do see that there's a bunch of marginal risk areas, one in Florida, one in South Carolina, one in the Four Corners region, and one in the North Plains. And day 3, it's pretty far out there, but the Four Corners region is definitely going to be the wettest region for that time frame. Taking a look at the tropics, we do have this 70% area out in the Atlantic. It's going to go out to sea. It could become a named system now, but again, it's no impact to the United States. We do see, however, convection is increasing with this system. So my bet is it may now become a named system, as it's going to be getting north of the area of drier air and sheared conditions. Let's take a look at the HRRR model for the rest of the day. You can see here's the showers and thunderstorms in the northeast. You can see shower and thunderstorm activity will continue in the south. And look at this. We now see an area of thunderstorms over Kentucky, and then maybe a second round later on this evening. And then we see in the North Plains over late tonight into tomorrow morning a round of severe thunderstorms. And looking at tomorrow, look at this. Remember that wild card system I was talking about? Across Pennsylvania and the Mid-Atlantic? There it is. Showers and thunderstorms do form tomorrow evening, maybe even a period of rain overnight tomorrow night in these areas that were originally expected to be dry. And look at the HRRR model here as we look in Nebraska and Kansas. Sunday night, there's a severe weather threat for you as a mesoscale convective system could evolve. And then Monday, we have to watch the Northeast. There could be a system in northern New England that provides showers and thunderstorms. Let's take a look at the Canadian model for the longer range forecast. You can see the front clears today and tonight in the Northeast, and we do see much less humidity. But what we do note here is in the plains, there are multiple severe weather threats for the next several days. Some of these marginal risk days could get upgraded to severe weather. And as you can see, as we head into later in the week, we do get another front and system that moves into the Northeast. There will be higher humidity ahead of that and slightly warmer temperatures. The West Coast, as you see here, remains relatively dry, except for the Four Corners region and the Rocky Mountains, where some monsoonal moisture will come into play. And taking a look here in the south, you can see shower and thunderstorm activity is going to increase, and believe it or not, we could actually see some relief in Texas. El Paso, Texas, you may soon end your streak of days above 100 degrees. Let's take a look at the European for temperatures. Taking a look at the European, you can see here, as we look into Sunday, cooler conditions in the Northeast. Highs in the 70s. South of Pennsylvania, like the Pennsylvania Turnpike on south, you're still going to highs in the mid-80s, but nothing like what you've been seeing. And even New York City on Monday, highs will reach into the 80s, but the humidity will be lower. And this actually lasts Tuesday, even Wednesday. But look in the south, you can see, still relatively hot. Even in the North Plains, the heat starts to build up once again. But as we head towards the end of this period, you can see there may be some signs of slight relief. Look at this. Here's next Sunday, still hundreds, but watch what happens. I'm going to switch this over now to the Canadian model. And look at the Canadian model now, the longer range. And you can see here, while there are still a few 100-degree days in some places, not as many. You see more 90s. Look at El Paso, Texas. That's 90s. For granted, you've had days above 110. That is an improvement. And look at the Northeast. Highs in the 70s on the Canadian. It's possible. The Climate Prediction Center still has our below average area. Let's take a look at precipitation. We have some precipitation in the plains and the Rockies. There's going to be from those multiple disturbances that could trigger MCS-like activity. We do have here in Illinois and Missouri another maximum of 3 to 5 inch rainfall, maybe localized higher. And look in the Northeast. We do have a maximum area of 1 to 3 inches, localized 4 inches, because we have that other system that's going to come through on Monday Monday evening, and then we have that late week system. And taking a look here across eastern Kentucky and Tennessee, there's also a precip maximum there as well. And look at this, very wet conditions on days 1 through 7 now in Florida. Let's take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Below average from the plains through the Northeast. Above average continues in the south. 8 to 14 days. Above average in the south, below average in the plains through the Northeast for temperatures, and slightly above average on the West Coast. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Well below average on the West Coast and in parts of the Four Corners region. The Rockies, like Colorado, Utah, the northern portion of that, above average. And that above average continues all the way down through the plains into the Carolinas and up through the Northeast. Below average across portions of the Great Lakes. I think this is underdone for Florida. I think Florida should be a little bit more above average than this. And 8 to 14 days, the majority of the country will be above average precipitation with exceptions to the Four Corners. Arizona is the maximum for dry conditions. Even Northern California, we could see some showers start to enter the picture, which would be good news. Unfortunately, Southern Texas, very dry still. Northern Texas, maybe slightly wetter with some shower and thunderstorm activity. Alrighty, that does it for the Saturday edition of the Climate Update. We'll have another climate update again tomorrow. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button down below. If you know anyone interested in weather, climate, or climate data, send them this way. Share these videos with them. By all means. Alrighty, have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay cool, keep safe from the storms. I will see you all again next time. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching.